Okay, welcome back. So if you haven't done the last class, which was all those deep core warm-ups, you might want to just stop this video and go do that now, or go do some of them now so that you feel that you're quite warmed up before we continue on. So let's work in this way. We're going to come up to a wall. That's why my mat is here. All right, just a little bit more tidy. There we go. Okay, so check to see that when you come into this wall that your mat's not going to move away. You're going to be able to sit here and feel this wedge of your body to the wall with your feet coming underneath like this. So just a nice little bit of a chair, and feel your spine go to the back. Feel your feet, just a sustainable. And just see what muscles, like play with putting your weight in your big toes or all the toes or just mostly the heels or just your right foot or just your left foot or both feet. And where's that kind of sweet spot where it doesn't feel like you have too much energy being expended? And then now let's feel the weight in the left foot. You might want your feet a little closer together. Feel your foot, your weight in your left, and then just slightly lift your right and then take down. Feel down through the right, take up with the left. Keep your spine on the ground. Come down, right leg, down, left leg, down. Straighten up. Pause. Okay, now let's come back down again and let's build up with the perineum being pushed up with the sitting bones. And let's just feel that if you've put your weight now in your left foot, maybe it's in your left shoulder as well, and you have your right foot. Feel the perineum. Stand on your right, lift your left. Come down, right, down, left, down, one more, right, down, and left, and down, and straighten up. Keep your seat at the wall and just hang forward, bend the knees. Good. Come forward and walk yourself down onto all fours. So if you need to put a blanket underneath your knees, you just go and do that now. So as we're here, have the knees fairly close together, and the hands are basically underneath your shoulders or your armpits. And feel the position of the sitting bones being smushed up, and so then your lumbar kind of slightly lifts to the sky, or if we're on our ground, it moves to the ground. Okay, I'm building that. Now, as we've built this, feel the sense of your left hand taking more weight and your right knee. Lift your left knee so that your hip lifts. So it's just coming straight up. Come down. Feel the sitting bone connection. Feel your hand on the right hand. And the left knee is down. And lift this right hip up. So it's going high up, or just to where it can be, but it's straight up. It's not, we're not taking the leg out of alignment. Coming down. We're going to build up this again really slowly. Feeling the pubic bone, lumbars plump. Feel the left hand and the right knee. Lift the left knee and the right arm that goes forward if you can. Come down. Settle. Right hand, left knee or down. Lift this right knee and the left arm goes forward. And down. And opposite. And down. And opposite. And down. One more with the right arm, Left knee lift, down, other side, left, and down. And then let's just come back into a nice child's pose. So decide if your child's pose has the knees together or the knees apart. And inhale coming up. So let's take the toes tucked under and we have the hands in front of us. We're going to come into downward dog. So let's just build this up slowly. So the hips go back, the elbows are relaxed. Feel the sitting bones pushed up, the pubic bone comes up, Samanavayu connects, the side ribs are wide, armpits are domed, the elbows are heavy and swinging. The fingers are spread but sweetly, not in a stiff way. And we have the hands in perfect alignment, but they are soft. And then start to feel the push of the hands and the toes and see if you can simultaneously, 50-50 energy, push them until you come up. So we're looking to see if it's possible to come up with the energy staying 50-50 the whole way up. Let's come back down and check that out again. So for example, if sometimes our shoulders require it of us, but sometimes you shift your weight forward and then back and that can be kind of fun too. But this is a way of understanding the different splits of energy. And sometimes it's going to be, we're going to work into a 70-30, where one part of the body has more of the load than the other part, but we're still occupying it with our mind. So we're just playing with this, that the body is, or the hands and the feet are going to be 50-50 split the whole way to coming up. So just thinking about that as we try this one more time again. Okay, so tucking the toes, hands are in a good position. And where that good position is that when we can find it. Let's actually stop and come back to this. So take your arms a bit, hands a little bit forward, widen the side ribs, and then just draw the hands back to where they can be, where they are so easy. Drop the head. See that the fingers are spread. The elbows are really heavy, but you're still active through these armpits, perineum. Start to feel the hands and the toes lean into the mat. 50-50, hips come up and pause and feel that. So when we've come up like this, what we might notice is a different kind of arm alignment at different days. Now let's just come back down. So sometimes the arm alignment at different points of my practice, I'll have my elbows a little bit out and more of a facing of each other of the elbows, or the eyes of the inner elbows. They're facing each other a bit more. And then that feels good for my wrists and it feels good for my arms and everything is just right. So if I first found the armpits and then my hands find wherever they go because that's aligned, it's absolutely perfect for me. So if I come up and I'm anxious in my hands, or I'm prepping for my hands, and that's a valid way to go. And if you've got injury, you might have to do that, like some real active hand before pushing up. So that's another way of doing it. But this is something that I really encourage you to try and see if after you've done all the weightlifting and after you've done some opening of the hands, open and closing, some rotations, and you've applied a bit of weight to the hands, then sometimes you can build the trust in the body. So let's try that again and just see if you can feel how the preparation of the torso, the shoulder girdle, the pelvis, connection through the spine, soft limbs, but perfect position, and then apply the weight, and you're only taking the load just to the point that you need it, or that you need to apply weight. That's how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's just tuck the toes again and see if we can find that. So I do that thing where the hands come forward. I really occupy my armpits and I let the arms be easy. And then I'll just check to see that they do feel, I won't adjust them, but I will see that I then spread the fingers and then start to wedge hands and feet. And as you just slowly load hands and feet, they're equal, they're 50-50, and the head can drop. And then now, as I'm here, some different things can start to happen. So now I can start to lift my rib cage and push my hands forward, and I can straighten my arms, bend the knees. Feel my sitting bones coming down towards my heels. Suction the head in with the ribs lifting, just as one way. And then come down. So that extra lift of the ribs is something that you really use when you are in an inversion because it will give you some more space and strength and stamina once you've been able to really activate those muscles. These are so many good groupings of muscles that are wanting to do this kind of work for you, but we often just, again, take it up here. So it's just a way of distributing the load in a different way. So now we're going to come back into it, and then we're going to go into side plank. And as we do so, it's going to be that kind of softish arm, and then it's going to build the load. So let's try that. So hands, tuck the toes, take the hips back, soft elbows, dropping the head. Armpits are very open and domed, and you'll feel the contraction a little bit up here in the perineum, and you know where the spine is. And then start to wedge, inhale, exhale, downward dog. So just take your sort of middle shaping of downward dog. And then let's feel the weight go into the left hand and the right foot. And see about bending the left knee as a result. And a little bit of lightness in this right hand. Come back to balance. Feel the weight go down through the right hand and the left foot. And that pulling the mat apart on a diagonal, you'll feel that, and just your right knee just bends, and your left hand is light. Come back, balance. So now let's feel that we have this weight in the left hand and right foot. Shift the weight more onto that left hand. Plop the right hand a bit forward. It's a soft arm. The armpit is engaged. Shift the weight into the hand. It picks up the load that is required, and then you come into your side. Maybe stacking the feet, or you could stagger them, one foot in front of the other. Come around, drop the left hand soft, but build the load. Bring the right hand back. Feel your down dog. Feel your weight coming into the right hand and left foot. Right knee bends, shift the weight a bit into the right hand, lift that left hand a bit forward. It's a soft hand, but it's in good alignment. The armpit dome on that left is really active, and then you start to lean into the left hand, and it's just taking the muscles only what are required to be here in side plank. Index finger of this top hand and the bottom hand engage a little bit. Come around and down dog. Come down into child's pose with your arms forward or your arms at your side, your choice. Inhale, coming up. So we're going to step the legs up the wall. So that's why I'm again still at the wall. So to do this, I like to have a bit of a break. Like we could do a lot more of those side planks, but this is a bit more workshop-y, so I don't want to overload your muscle capacity for today. Let's just start. You can be on a blanket if that suits. Start by tucking the toes under and lifting back. Hands come forward. Push the heels away to lengthen the soles of the feet. See if it works for you to sit down on your heels or put a block right here if that suits best. Okay, one round of alternate nostril breathing while you're here. Block the right, inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release the hand. Lean forward. Let the toes come out. And then come onto the tops of the feet and draw the tops of the toes into the mat and drag the mat forward as you come back. Your ankles are lifted so your ankles aren't down onto the ground. And let's just see one more round of alternate nostril breathing if you can here. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release the hand, lean forward. Massage out the toes or the feet if you need to, and then take the sides of the feet together and really lean the ankles down now in this one. So you might even feel like a pointed toe as you're leaning the ankles down and coming back to sit on the heels if you're able. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And release. Now here's where you might want to take a block and put that underneath. If you didn't need a block before, you might in this one where the heels come wider than the hips, and this might be where you want to sit down on a block or stay elevated, but still keep the heels wider than what would be the hips, just as a way of changing how the knees are. And you're active and you're trying to lift the toes up off the ground. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release the hand. Notice the mind. Okay, open the eyes if they're closed. Remove your block if you have one. So now we're going to just take some of those principles of alignment of where the hands are, how we find the position for those by, again, activating through the armpits and having a soft quality through the arms. So I'm backing up so that you can see my heels are up, my toes are still on my mat, but I'm going to be kind of in a down dog with my heels really high up. So I'm taking my hands forward, I'm just plopping them there, opening my armpits, and then I'm just coming back to where I feel like it's like that baby bear porridge. It's just this exact right. And then I don't move them from that unless one hand is farther forward than the other. And so then I want to balance that out. So I just feel that. I relax through my elbows, really widen through the side ribs, drop the head. So we have the containment of the major grouping of joints of the shoulder girdle and the pelvis, contract at the perineum, and then inhale, and then exhale, and start to push the hands and the feet simultaneously. Take one leg up, toes, other leg up, toes. And then just feel this position where the hands must pick up with some strength, but we're not overdoing any of the muscles. We're only using exactly what we need to stay here and to still breathe. Side ribs, armpits, claw nests at the shoulders, perineum. So if we're using that understanding of the sitting bones being squished up and plumping up the lumbar spine, then we'll really feel how we're not going to become a banana bag. All right, take one foot down and then the other foot down. Pause in a forward fold. You can take your seat to the wall again, and then that's just kind of a nice way to hang in down dog. Maybe hold your elbows. And then release, and we'll come back down. So let's just loosen up some of what we've done for the shoulders if they felt a little bit tight. So take your blanket so that you can sit on something nice and soft. I find this is such a good way to create some ease in my whole shoulder girdle, especially my shoulder blades. They can sometimes feel a little bit sticky. So take the soles of the feet together. If you need to sit up onto some height, go get some height. So I'm just sitting here, just testing where I can be with this, and maybe even come a little bit forward. My hands are not pulling myself forward. In fact, I'm using my hands to just be kind of a guide or a kindness here in this forward movement. And then I'm just seeing if I can relax some areas or engage with whatever needs to be done. This is your body, you know. Well, we're beginning to know. And then come up. So I like to do that as a gauge, and then we'll do that again after we do this side to side movement. So let's just take our hands behind us a bit, palms maybe of the fingers face away, and just let yourself hang. So sagging back in the lumbar and the thoracic and middle back, shoulder heads are kind of forward and up like this. Now let's just feel a bit of a pop, like a slow motion pop of the chest lifting up and dropping back down. Keeping it dropped back as you then lift up this left arm and curl it around and feel a leaning. And this right hand is stabilizing. And you can see maybe my elbows kind of turning out to the side. I'm flaring my right shoulder blade. So much is happening in something that looks kind of simple. Lots of length from this left arm. Come back around, settle the hand, and let's just feel this pop and this drop and go to the other side. So now it's this left elbow that feels flaring, and we're really leaning around with this right arm. So I'm feeling it all the way from my left hip through my right ribs to this right arm. Come back around with no pain, just a bit of tensioning. And let's pop, and let's drop, and twist to the right. Come back around and lift, and drop, and twist to the left. Come back around and lift, and drop, and twist to the right. Come back around and lift, and drop, and twist to the left. Come back around, we'll do one more on each side. So lift the chest, drop the chest, twist to the right. Come back around and lift and drop and twist. And then come back around and lift and drop. And just stay hanging like this a couple breaths. All right, just slowly let yourself come forward and just feel what this feels like it to come forward. And then come up a little bit, and we're going to twist from side to side here. So take your right hand to the back of your sacrum and curve yourself over to the right with your left arm. Left hand goes to the back of the pelvis and take your right arm around. And what you're doing is you're now going to go back and forth is you're really feeling a stabilized quality of the back of the pelvis as you're going from side to side. One more to the left, come to the center and come down. And now feel what it feels like to be in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Okay, coming back up. Support your knees, bring them up, and just hug the knees and just pause like this. Okay, so with the first video, we've really found connections, specifically the connections. You're feeling the pubic bones smush up, plumping up the lumbar spine, whether if you're on the ground, it plumps to the ground, or if you are up on all fours or in down dog, it plumps up to the sky. So we're feeling those connections. And then we're also opening up into the armpits and into the qua nest in the front of this deltoid right here, this pocket in here of the arm as well. And we're understanding, finding ease of movement through the limbs. So when we find these major connections through these two masses, then the rest can kind of flow. And we're wanting to find a kind of grace of movement and no pain. And also this, what I feel is like perfect alignment through for the limbs when we first find it in through the torso. Okay. I think that you might want to lie down, have a little bit of a shavasana. Take some time for yourself and breathe and take all the mentaling that we've done and just let that melt away. Let the yoga work on you as a medicine for your physicality and your physiology. Namaste.